Okay, well, welcome to another edition of my Create the Ripple podcast. I am your host, Candice Smiley. I am just overjoyed at my guest this afternoon. You have heard her chat with me before. I lovingly called her my fairy godmother. And Juey Ann is back for another edition with me today. Juey Ann, thank you for joining me today.
I'm so pleased to be here, Candice. I call her my angel.
Well, I appreciate this, really, I do. I enjoy that when we get together, we're like, two little kids in a candy store talking about energy and things and what's going on for us. And so, like, most of the time, our pre-show chat was full of life and fun, and I appreciate that and being able to connect on that level. Now, there's been a lot that's been going on for you since we last chatted. And I know we really kind of wanted to focus on some of the things you're offering into the world and supporting people to find in themselves, myself included. I look back, Juey Ann, it was like a year ago in April that everything fell apart for me. And then here we are a year later, and things have really, really come back together in surprising and wonderful ways. So I would love to just open it up so you can kind of share some of those things that are on your mind and your heart right now so that my listeners can get a taste of that. They hear me talk about my feminine balance coach all the time. And so it's always fun for me when I can say, this person, this is the fairy godmother I talk about all the time.
Your feminine balance is amazing. She's one of my star pupils. But I think that, like me, those ones of us who feel disempowered, whether we're not seen or heard, or people don't seem to just listen to us, or we put everybody else first and we're last. And that's how I started out with sexual abuse and all kinds of abuse. So I know what it's like to feel absolutely disempowered in some way or always. For the feminine balance to really bubble up and come forward, these things that stop us need to be addressed. And women for centuries have been pushed down. We were a chattel. We weren't allowed to vote. We had no value. Men come first, listen to men, all of these beliefs. And some of them are passed to us through our genetic chain, our ancestors, and others we absorb. And some come with us, I believe. Our soul carries them. So having that out of the way then leaves us with an awareness of boundaries and empowerment to speak up for oneself and put oneself first. Then when those boundaries are in place, those women like myself who have been disempowered through sexual and have some really challenges to open up in that arena have boundaries in place. They can say no, they can say yes. But from that clarity, that place within where it's me, it's my clarity. And if I choose to be in my feminine presence, that's when we really open up. But both of those things need to be in place. And I've heard comment from clients that say, oh, Juey Ann, if I'd only had this before, do you know how much easier it is for me to meditate? Do you know how much I just keep attracting those things that I want now because I'm so clearly able to connect. And miracles are happening everywhere. We need to hear that with this COVID happening around us, but they really, really do happen.
Mm-hmm. I know one of the biggest things that you and I worked through, not just in the feminine balance, which I think probably had the most significant feel for me, finding and marrying the two sides of myself,
Mhm.
but also the power of saying no. And I think I've always sort of experienced boundaries as something that was hard to do and that sort of thing. And you and I did a lot of work around the word no. And I know you've got an entire program on the power of no. And since I've learned to sort of tap into that, like even when we were joking about it, but like when you don't want to do something, when it's a no for you, then it just doesn't happen. It doesn't get done. And I love that because I think, well, you live in that much integrity. so, so that makes sense. But I think for so many of us, one of the greatest acts of self-love we can do is learn how to say no and say no without guilt or and in freedom to do so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if we don't look after us and we don't know what we want and what our desires are, most people who come to my classes are sensitive or empathic people. And we have this belief that we can heal, fix, or make people happy. And I was one of those. In fact, my friend called me an empath, a deranged empath. And my meaning of that means is that I believe I'm doing good, but I'm really not. I'm not helping the person I'm supposedly helping or myself. And that's what makes me deranged. I used to feel into something and see somebody needed it and just go over there and do it. Oops, I don't do that anymore. And it certainly leaves me a lot more time for self-care, self-love, self-clarity. And my clients experience that.
I know that that was a term you had used for me. Um, born out of a desire to be helpful and needed from an unhealed wound, right? Rather than turning that love on myself. And I can remember when I was starting to do that and being like, what if I took care of myself? It was weird and it felt awkward. And it took a long time to stop being the person who I was like, I can do it. I can fix that. I can sort this out. And realizing how little I actually, want to do that. And then realizing how, like you say, how much time it freed up, not only for me, but for the things that actually light up my heart or just simply sitting, enjoying the sense of the incense, right? Or the sunshine coming through the door and how we get into that busy space and then we don't really get a chance to experience that healing in full. Hey, it's Candice. I hope you're really enjoying the show. I know I certainly am. I want to give a big shout out to one of the products that I absolutely love using. So this is 36-year-old skin, and I am in love with it. Yes, I am wearing a teeny tiny bit of foundation. I'm wearing a little bit of eyeshadow, but in general, I want to go like really, really close. This is my skin. Phenomenal, right? So I recently started using a product called BioCell. BioCell is liquid collagen. Now, there's a lot of buzz about collagen right now, but you want to find one that mirrors closest the human kind of collagen. I was super impressed with this particular collagen. This is made with only the sternums of chickens. So that's the, the sternum bone of chickens in a place that has already ethically and humanely taken care of these chickens. And so we're basically using a part of the chicken that would normally just disappear and be used for other things. I have not got into the collagen world before now, mostly because I know that a lot of the collagens out there, especially the powdered collagen,
They have things like cow hooves and pig hooves and noses, and I just wasn't interested in putting that sort of thing in my body. I do try to live a more plant-based lifestyle. This is one of the few products that I allow to have animal in it, but I absolutely love it. I'm also really impressed with the company behind it. They're a values-driven company, and if you know from watching any of my shows, values matter to me. They've got a number of values. One, to be disruptive in the industry, and you know me, I like to be a little bit irreverent and go against the grain once in a while. I also really love that one of their values is humility and compassion, because those are huge and important to me. So if you're looking for a place to spend your money, and no, it's not an arm and a leg, no, it's not an MLM, this is affiliate marketing, which means if you did decide to purchase this product, yes, I would in fact get a small commission, which has nothing to do with your products or your purchase or the price point on the product, to be honest with you. It is simply 10 to 36% for me, depending on how many of this awesome product that I get a chance to move. Also, I'm paid daily, which I think is pretty amazing. So if you're somebody who's looking for some collagen and you just want to be our customer, I have got a $10 code. Drop a link or a comment below, or feel free to message me and I will share with you my link so that you can get $10 off of your first order. If you are somebody who's thinking, hey, I would like to get some product and also like to break into the affiliate game, that's a passion for me. I love teaching women and men, but mostly women, how to master the affiliate game. Once you learn how to do it with one company, you can do it with anything else. So I hope that you're enjoying the show, and without any further ado, back to the show.
Fullness. Now, I know that one of the things that I think people find disarming about you, and maybe there's some fear that comes up for them, is working with someone like you means you're going to tap into your superpower. And I'd love for you to talk about that, because I think for me, it has been unnerving sometimes to be around a coach and a mentor and a healer who knows as much as you do. That can feel really vulnerable. However, when I think about how you've used that gift in order to create a safe space, for me, you might call me your star pupil, but I think it's because we both showed up willing to show up, broken or otherwise, broken or in our superpower, in order to find that balance again, both within ourselves. So I'd love you to talk more about that, because I know that's something that I think weighs on people's minds.
As my superpower is, I'm incredibly intuitive and incredibly connected to source, God of your understanding, divine creator, whatever you call it. And that was because of my life's experience. I came in as a sensitive person, but I perfected these skills staying alive as a child. Having had 2 near-death experiences led me to all of these wonderful gifts, and I accept them. Certainly, it might have even been in God's mind for me to do that. But because as a child, I was invaded in all ways. I don't like to invade other people's space. I don't like to be invaded, and I choose not to do that. I'll ask permission and then have it happen. Or if something comes to me from Creator, I will put that forth. But it isn't an invasion, I hope. The interesting ability I have with my clients is to sense when we are in a session and I have been given permission to connect, to sense what is going on at an emotional level. And then, because we all have our own answers, I can use that superpower to ask the right questions to guide you to your answer. And if I tell you, it may register 3%, But if I ask you a question and it goes through your brain circuitry, I bet you get 90+%. So there's no advantage of just reading you and telling you. And that's just doesn't feel comfortable. In fact, it feels sticky. So I like to use the gifts that I have to create space, to create safety, to be aware of, where the energy around a person. Are they sad? Are they depressed? So it assists me to meet them where they're at, rather than go off on 0.6 of our 6th session. It's just not, it's not viable, because we all change. I meet a lot of my clients every week, and things happen. Life happens. And it's not always appropriate to carry on with what could be next. So I would assume that also helps to create safety. Is that true?
It does. I think too, one of the things I always appreciated is that sometimes in more sessions, there would be an opening that would almost feel like a loop back for me. And you were always willing to sort of dive in, and that, oh, we didn't know that door was there, except we did, the decluttering last week and there's a door there. And so that was always interesting for me, as I felt like our sessions built on themselves. And even though I would feel seen, which is sometimes hard and challenging, especially if you don't necessarily feel like what someone's seeing is the best parts of you. You always handled that vulnerability piece well. I think, like you say, because you know what it's like to be invaded, that was never an intention for you. I always like to open up the space, and I sense, you're sort of tuned in, tapped in, turned on right now. And I'd love, for you to sort of continue, if there's something else on your mind and heart, to share that. I'd like you to right now, because I think that would be special.
I'm all about joy. And I've created a circle called the Joy Circle. Guess what? But in this time of COVID, we need to be aware of the joyful things. Gratitude is one thing, but does gratitude light you up? It doesn't. At least it doesn't for me. It expands my heart, but it doesn't light me up. So if I can acknowledge that this brings me joy and that brings me joy, it's just that awareness, the awareness of our senses. What's your favorite flavor? Your favorite color? Your favorite odor? Or many? Mine is cinnamon buns. And I love my coffee. But I can say it. I don't just like coffee. I love my coffee. And see how that joy brings up the passion in a person. So my business is all directed indirectly toward joy. So look at even yourself, Candice. When we moved away those belief systems and you established your boundaries, that left room for joy.
You did.
And the more we continue to grow, even at my age, I do, more joy, more awareness. And it would be my gift to each and every one of you that you would know what brings you joy and to be able to allow that. So if you're stuck in any of that stuff, call me. The number is 403-358-8789. And we'll see where you are in your journey toward joy. I would love it. That's 403-358-8789. Oh, and I have a class coming up for the empath awareness, power of no, in June and perhaps May. You know how the government likes to play with when we have things. So watch Facebook for that and see what's coming your way. I have only room for 6 according to the 6-foot rule and all the other precautions that we'll be taking. So be one of the ones that joins us.
I would strongly recommend, if there's a nudge on your heart, to definitely follow that. Reach out to Juey Ann. As always, I will make sure that links, as they are available, will be in the show notes so that you can easily connect with Juey Ann. You have had such an impact on my life, and I appreciate that we have been able to continue to be in each other's orbits, even as I have shifted and changed and we have grown. And oh, I think joy is what I feel like, whether it's when we're on a call together or when we're doing something like this. I think, like, this is why it's really wonderful to be alive. And I would love more men and women to be able to experience what that feels like. So, Juey Ann, thank you for sharing space with me today and your wisdom. Oh, thank you. And to my listeners, you know the drill. That was a pretty clear call to action. And I know if you've listened with me to this point, that was definitely meant for you. And for the rest of you, like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really does mean the world for those of us taking time to put this kind of content together. Thank you so much for listening. I will catch you on the flip side.
Are you looking for a simple, easy weight management solution? I thought you might be. I know I was. I also wasn't interested in something with a ton of gimmick without any science behind it, which I know a ton of companies have. The company I'm about to share with you actually has 12 of their own clinical studies. And for me, with my science-based background, I needed to know that. I also needed to know the product worked. And so I was introduced to the group that, however, had 125,000 members in it, all supporting amazing stories of weight management, weight loss, hair regrowth. Oh my gosh. Not surprising though, considering the product itself has won numerous awards in and out of the nutraceutical industry, which I think is pretty incredible. Pretty exciting as well is the fact that it's made with their patented technology, 7 international patents on the collagen in this product, made entirely from chicken sternum. Chicken sternum, why? Because it most closely mimics the collagen that our own bodies create. Now, I'm a 36-plus-year-old woman, and so making sure that I'm maintaining and taking care of and trying to reverse the clock so I can age gracefully is super important to me. Making sure I'm taking products that are safe, making sure I'm taking products that are approved, and making sure I'm taking products that I would be happy to share because there's integrity at the top. So this company is a values-based company, which I absolutely love. Not only do I love that, but I love the flavors. This is mango. Mango's my favorite. This is from the Modera company, which you've heard me talk about before. 1 simple spoonful a day. In the morning, I can add it to my coffee if I feel like it. I don't add the mango, I add the vanilla to my coffee, but I can add a simple spoonful to my day. It tastes awesome. It tastes amazing. And it's helping my body to maintain the figure that I've worked to get to. Why not? Now, if you're looking for some weight management, this is going to help curb appetite. It's going to help your body to function as best. And we know that when you do something like that and you make wiser choices, your body says thank you. This is part of an entire system called the Lean Body System. I will make sure to post information for that below, or you're welcome to scan the QR code, which I know is going to be somewhere in the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. If not, head over to modere.ca. That's MODERE, modere.ca, or modere.com, and use code 5579027. Again, 5579027 to save $10 on your next order, regardless of what you put in your cart. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of the listen.